特首大聲啲係。特首你好友善啊！首先想問翻咧，就係1年前押後立法會選舉嘅時候啦，得149宗確診啦，嚟到依家係幾千宗確診嘅時候，就都係決定押後特首選舉啦。依家回望翻，會唔會覺得其實當時係唔應該押後立法會選舉，應該係如期舉行呢？咁係啦，咁呢個第一個問題啦。第二個問題咧，就係想問翻，即係人大常委啦，譚耀宗其實都有建議過，即係去延長咧3個月咁樣，或者甚至更加長啦咁樣。其實依家去睇翻，即係可能疫情啱啱講到，可能要2-3個月，甚至係更加長嘅時間先至可以平息到。點解唔再去押後長啲嘅時間咧？咁樣係啦。咁第三個問題就係咧，其實呢一個決定係來自政府內嘅決定啊，還是會唔會有當中有請示過中央？有冇考慮過即係可能自己連任啊嗰啲選情嘅問題咧？唔該。
一陣間各位提問請稍為大聲啲，因為我最近聽嘢唔係聽得好清楚嚇。3個問題，第一咧就係唔係舊年係前年嚇。2020年咧係7月31日咧，我係公布係需要將當年2020年9月6日嘅第7屆立法會選舉將佢押後1年。而當時同而家唔同咧，其實已經進入咗提名期㗎啦。7月31日咧係一個最後嘅提名期一日，所以當時我都喺同樣呢個場合講咧，一個非常之艱難嘅決定，因為有人已經交咗提名表格，但係成個7月喺公佈之前呢，個禮拜都係超過100宗啊！如果你話而家有1000宗，所以當時100宗唔使驚，但係當時喺第3波之前呢，我哋都未見過呢啲數字，係咪啊？亦都冇人能夠好似一個先知咁知道呢個140幾宗呢就係見頂啦。等於我今日都唔夠膽同大家講，昨天嘅6000多宗呢已經係見頂啦。咁但係以公共衛生嚟到考慮呢，當日亦都係一個有理有據嘅決定。尤其是如果你翻查翻我當日咧，係花咗好多時間去解釋一場咁規模龐大嘅立法會選舉，涉及400萬選民、600多個投票站、3萬多個工作人員，根本冇可能可以控制到嗰個病毒嘅感染。而當時世界各地都有好多地方咧係延遲咗佢哋應該舉行嘅選舉。咁所以從翻嗰個當時嘅現實情況嚟到睇咧，仍然係一個正確嘅決定。第二個問題就係點解唔延長啲？其實我頭先都解咗㗎啦。喺選擇另一個新嘅選舉投票日，我哋有3個因素要考慮嚇。當然3個因素係會有啲矛盾嘅。譬如從疫情嘅考慮，我梗係希望我哋多啲時間可以壓抑呢一次嘅疫情，所以我頭先都係好坦白講，從我哋而家做嘅工作咧，譬如我哋就認為2到3個月可能係好啲嚇，但事實上今次嘅押後並冇俾到我哋有2到3個月，因為4月3號咧又開始提名啦，5月8日咧就係又要投票啦，大概6個禮拜度。咁點解咁樣飲咧？即係一來，我哋會繼續好努力咁去壓抑呢個疫情，希望爭取喺最短嘅時間，喺中央嘅大力支持之下咧，可以將佢控制到一個穩定嘅局面。但係呢度就有第2個同埋第3個因素。第2個因素就係都要為後任嘅行政長官預留一啲籌備嘅工作嘅時間，係嘛？佢如果喺5月8號選出嚟咧，我覺得都有接近2個月。都係一個可以接受嘅時間嚟到組班，因為對於後任行政長官，我有親身經驗啦。其實喺嗰段時間由選咗出嚟，中央任命咗成為後任行政長官，到宣誓就任，最重要嘅工作係組班。其他嘅工作，譬如你話即係籌備嗰個儀式啊、典禮啊，甚至領導人訪港啊，都係現屆政府做嚇。咁所以行政長官主要咧就係用一段時間咧嚟組成佢嘅班子，然後交俾中央咧嚟到作出呢個任命。咁所以5月8日如果成功可以進行咧，佢都仲有成接近2個月，即係距離6月30日咧仲有2個月咧可以做呢個工作。咁所以亦都係一個可以接受嘅方案。第3個因素咧就係我哋唔想去壓縮晒喺一場公平公正選舉一般有嘅原則規定。就係起碼有14日係俾人提名，有21日 喺提名結束之後去投票，即係話嗰個競選期啦。咁所以呢一套日子咧係保留晒嗰啲原則，我哋係完全遵循翻喺選舉裏邊嗰啲重要嘅原則嘅規定，就係咁樣咧，就係揾到呢一套日子出嚟嚇。好啦，第三個問題咧就係中央嘅角色啦嚇。我作為向中央同埋香港雙負責嘅行政長官咧，我係需要按住基本法向中央人民政府負責嘅。所以凡係香港有一啲重大嘅事情咧，行政長官都係要作出一個彙報。呢4年幾以嚟咧，我想我彙報嘅機會係特別多嘅，因為香港實在發生咗好多事。咁而且特別針對選舉咧，就唔係單單係一個籠統嘅彙報，因為大家記得喺2021年3月11日就通過咗全國人民代表大會關於完善香港特別行政區選舉制度嘅決定。呢個係由全國人民代表大會通過嘅決定。呢個決定裏邊嘅第8段咧就係咁講嘅。佢話香港特別行政區行政長官應當就香港特別行政區選舉制度安排同埋選舉組織等有關重要情況，及時向中央人民政府提交報告。咁所以回答你嘅問題咧，呢次特區政府係認為需要押後第6屆行政長官選舉。我係已經向中央作出呢個報告，亦都係得到中央嘅同意。多謝。
係第2位記者，後排中間嗰位男記者，藍色口罩嗰個。
Hi, Mrs. Lam from RTHK. You said last week that you couldn't see a need to postpone the CE election. Could you explain why you've changed your stance? Was it because of President Xi's comment that controlling the pandemic was the government's top priority? And secondly, is there any chance that the government may have to further postpone the election if the virus situation remains severe in early May? And are you optimistic that the new CE will be able to come into office as scheduled on July the 1st? And it's extending the current term of the administration, one of the options. And also, do you intend to run for the CE election? And lastly, about the news about citywide testing or lockdown, how likely do you think the government will carry out citywide testing or lock down the whole city? And if a full-scale lockdown is needed, how long do you expect that to be, and how would that be executed? Thank you.
Again, 3 questions. Now, first of all, when you said that I have changed my stance, I want to remind myself what I have said on previous occasions. Actually, the media have been asking me this question on several occasions. And on almost every occasion, I said that at the present moment, because the epidemic situation is changing so rapidly, nobody could give any absolute guarantee that what will happen the next day and the next day and so on. So if I refer you to an answer in English, it was stand up on the 15th of February. A similar question was asked by a reporter. I said, at this moment, the plan for the chief executive election remains the same. That is, the nomination period will start on the 20th of February and the voting day will be on the 27th of March. But as I just said, one of the things I need to clarify is because of the severity and the speed of this latest wave of the epidemic, we have to continuously review the situation, adjust the measures, and seek additional help. So I could not preclude any possibilities at this moment. So I hope you remember what I have said. So I will not accept that this is a change in my stance. This is a fulfillment of my promise that I will continuously review the situation and adjust the measures or the policy that need to be taken in the best interests of Hong Kong. Invoking the ERO is not an easy decision, but it is one under the present circumstances that serves the overall public interest of Hong Kong. Now, the second question is a very valid one because, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I could not guarantee that by early February, when the nomination period starts again, that we will not have COVID-19 cases in Hong Kong. But we still have about 6 weeks to fight this epidemic. And with the full support of the Central People's Government, and you are seeing this support coming almost every day, and the more sort of tough measures or more decisive measures that the Hong Kong SAR government will take because of this additional timely support from the Central People's Government, I remain optimistic. And I appeal to the people of Hong Kong to remain optimistic and confident that we will be able to overcome this public health crisis in the same way that we have overcome previous crises, whether it is this COVID-19 epidemic or the riots that we have seen in the latter part of 2019. So, but what will happen if somehow by April, we were still facing a situation as serious as today? And similarly, the judgment is it would not be safe to start a CE election. Then, of course, one option is to do another time of postponing. We still have a little bit of time to postpone it again with the 14 days and the 21 days. But that will take us very close to the end of June, which means that it will heavily compromise the second factor, and that is to allow sufficient time for the CE-elect to form his team and to complete the necessary work before he or she takes office on the 1st of July. So it will be a very difficult decision by then. But that's all we could do because the current term government could not do anything that goes beyond our term. So options like extending the term of the chief executive or postponing the CE election to after 30th of June are not decisions that we could take. They could only be made by the Central People's Government. And I believe that since the Central People's Government is supportive of our current decision, when the time comes, then the Central People's Government will sort of take over and find a solution to the problem then. Now, the third question is about the next stage of managing or fighting this COVID-19 epidemic. I just mentioned that with the full support and additional help from the central government, we will be undertaking more tough measures. So one of the measures that we are planning very seriously, is a mandatory universal testing. So we will test everyone in Hong Kong. But mandatory testing and a complete city lockdown may not need to go hand in hand. It depends on the actual situation. In our case, having examined the unique situation in Hong Kong, we probably will just go for universal testing of everyone. But testing more times, which I understand was the method used by Macau, for example. Macau tested the 600,000 residents not only once, but twice, or sometimes in other cities in the mainland even 3 times, in order to ensure that we will eliminate any remaining infections in society. So that is something that we are planning. But complete city lockdown is something we are not planning. So I need not answer your other questions about how long and what to do and so on. Thank you.
係，我哋問多2位記者問題。前排白色衫嗰位係。